What's going on, guys? So I wanted to do a video on SD cards. Most of us, when learning about SD cards, get confused about what cards to get. Right now, the main things you need to look at is what the V number is. Cards are either V30, V60, or V90. And if you want to be able to handle 4K and 4K slow motion, you need at least a V60 card. Don't fall for the trap of buying Extreme Plus and Extreme Pro cards unless it says V60 or higher on there in 2024 or later. If you try to film 4K slow motion on V30 cards, most cameras it will not allow you and you might get an error. On Sony cameras, this is what you will see. Cannot record in this recording setting. Either switch to a memory card higher than SD V60 or a memory card higher than CF Express VG200 or something like that. Now I know most of us have V30 cards when starting off and it can handle 4K, but once you try to do slow motion stuff, that is where it will lock up on you. Now you can do slow motion 1080 on V30 cards, but I think nowadays most people prefer to shoot in 4K. I did the research on speed and price differences for you on some of the more popular V60 cards. Yes, there are more brands out there, but in general, most of these will be similar speeds and price ranges. Now let's look at the different V60 cards out there and their speeds and sizes and prices. All right, so here's SanDisk right here. The read and write is 280 and 150. And for 128 giger, it's $40, 256 is $80, and 512 jumps to 170. So even though I would love to have a 512, but 170 is way too expensive. That's why I have not bought any more SanDisk, just because the price range is not reasonable for me. PNY, the read write speed is same as SanDisk, 280 and 150. So 128 is $33, which is $7 cheaper. 256 is $55, which is much cheaper compared to SanDisk. And 512 is $80, more than half the price of the SanDisk. Price wise, I mean, this is the best bang for your buck, it looks like so far. All right, let's look at ProGrade here. ProGrade is a speed of 250 and 130, a little bit slower than your SanDisk and PNY. 128 giger for 50 bucks, 256 for 90, and 512 for 165. So prices is very similar to SanDisk. And then let's look at Lexar here. Lexar, they do have 512s because I do have 512s, but for some reason they're not selling it right now. They might have sold out, but the speed is 250 and 120, right? 128 you can get it for 28 bucks. 256 you can get it for 48 bucks. So those prices are very reasonable, but the read write is a little bit slower compared to the PNYs and all the other ones actually. This is one of the slower ones right here, but you know, it's still a V60 and it's a little bit cheaper. So if you want to go that route, that sounds reasonable. We all know that Sony it has some of the better quality ones out there. That's why this is called tough. Yeah, let's look here. 277 and 150 meg right. And 128 is 68 bucks and 256 is $119. There you go. I mean, just look at this snapshot right here. I did all the comparisons for you. If you know of other brands, you can pull it up and they will be very similar prices to some of these brands out here. But for me, I do have PNYs and I do have Lexars, and I have been phasing out the SanDisk because all my SanDisks are V30s, and I'm going for V60s now. I mean, I would love to have V90 cards, but the interesting part about that is when V90 cards level up their speeds, the old V90 speeds will move over to the V60 speeds. So honestly, you can always stay V60 and that should keep you up to date. You know, you'll always have nice speeds on the V60 cards. Last bonus info, what about micro SD cards? Make sure you get the ones that have an A2 on it. If you get an A1 for your drone or DJI Pocket 3, it might struggle and cut off on you because it requires A2 level. If you have any more questions or you have some information out there that I might not have disclosed, feel free to leave it out in the comments, and thanks for watching.